It is a most pleasant Saturday evening in lower downtown Denver as we get ready to go. The Rockies winners last night 5-4 over Cincinnati. The Rockies in first place in the NL West at 27 and 24. And the Reds come in at 18-34. They're in the midst of a long road trip. They'll play here, they'll play in San Diego, they'll play Arizona as well. And number 24 back in a big league uniform. Special day for Ryan McMahon. He's right in that starting lineup. Bat near the bottom of the order, but he'll play second base. Tyler Anderson, he gets to go first. That's how it works in the big leagues. Yeah. So as soon as he bounds out there, everybody else can follow. It's like in football. You just first guy out of the tunnel, right?
Yeah. You got to break through that
it's going to be paper. It's going to be the head coach, and then everybody blows by the head coach. In Major League Baseball, it's a starting pitcher. Take a look at the Southwest batting order tonight for Cincinnati. They've flipped out some of their lefties against Anderson naturally. So Jose Peraza moves from the bottom of the lineup to the top of the lineup. Scooter Gennett, he plays every day. Last 10 games, 324. Heck, overall, he's hitting 319. Joey Votto, you know he never comes out. Eugenio Suarez, a home run in each of his last 2 ball games. Adam Duvall is in there in left field. Brandon Dixon's a kid. He just came up 5 days ago. Tony Cruz behind the plate. Tyler Mahle is on the mound, and Billy Hamilton, as Jim Riggleman likes to do, he bats him 9th. So you kind of have 2 leadoff hitters. And there's the numbers on Tyler Anderson, looking again for his 4th victory of the year. Fastball, cutter, changeup.
Yeah, and he was in line for that 4th victory in San Francisco. Got a little bit of a bad luck there when there were a couple runners were on, and that was when Brian Shaw came in, gave up the home run. So Tyler wasn't able to get the victory. 52% of the time he's throwing his fastball about 92. And if you're wondering about the usage for the fastball at 52, that's a little bit below what the Major League average is. It's 55.5% is what the Major League average is on just a regular 4-seam fastball. Then a cut fastball, changeup, and curveball to complement the fastball for Tyler.
What do you think? I like the hats.
I love the hats. Day. I love them. I saw some of the guys today with their batting gloves that are the camo color.
How cool are those?
It's the, you know, we said it during Mother's Day weekend. We'll say it during Father's Day weekend. Just what Major League Baseball has done.
They do it
these
right.
days.
And I love that they do it for the whole weekend as opposed to just one day. There's Ryan McMahon. He's at second base. Such a good athlete, so versatile that you know, he came up as a 3rd baseman. He plays first base. He's picked up second base. That is the new wave in Major League Baseball, particularly in the National League. You have to be a multi-positional guy unless you're just out of this world offensively. It's a first base.
Well, and even when you first come up, you might be a multi-dimensional guy, and then you solidify your spot at one position.
Right. So here we go. First pitch of the ball game. Misses, ball 1 to Peraza. Rockies, you may recall last night, fell behind early in the game. In fact, they were down 4-1 fairly early. It's nice to see Colorado come back from a 3-run deficit. And it's amazing because last night was game number 51. And we made this statement at the very end of the broadcast as we were tossing it out to the guys in center field, that 3-run deficit in game 51 was the largest the Rockies have overcome this year.
Yeah, 2 times they've overcome the 2-run deficit. The last time was at May 6th at New York.
Even in the years that were at the end of the season you describe as lean in terms of wins and losses, the Rockies have always, especially at Coors Field, been able to come from behind throughout the year, big deficits and huge rallies. We haven't seen a ton of that so far. Anderson's got time, low throw, and just did get Peraza. So 1 out. That'll bring up Scooter Gennett.
For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. First things first. The guys talked about it out in center field on the pregame show. 42 first-inning runs allowed by the Rockies, 4th most in baseball. They have a 7.41 ERA in the first inning, and you have to go back to 1996 when they had one over 7, and that was 7.39 that year. If you're wondering how about last year, it was just 4.33, which was tied for the 6th best in all of baseball.
Interesting numbers. Gennett hits this ball pretty well to right center field, and so well it's going to leave the ballpark. 10th home run for Scooter Gennett. 10 home runs, 36 driven in, and he takes Anderson deep left on the first pitch he sees.
That is the 12th home run the Rockies have allowed in the first inning. They had allowed only 19 all of last year in the first inning.
Getting out of the first inning, whether it's a home run or a series of base hits to produce runs, has been an issue for the Rockies.
10 home runs for Scooter, 36 RBIs.
So the Rockies will play uphill again tonight. Here's Votto out of that crouch. I was remarking to a couple people today on the field. We kind of touched on this yesterday. It seems like every time we see the Reds for the first time, Joey Votto's size comes up. Joey Votto, because you see him on TV at the crouch and he chokes up. And then if you're fortunate enough to see him up close, you say, wow, that is a big human being. He's a strong man. He's 6'4", 230, 235.
But it just the way he stands there makes him seem much smaller. But even the crouch on that swing, or on that take, excuse me, it made it look like he was about 5'5".
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Anderson working ahead, a run in, 1 out. And this is punched to left, and that is the swing of a 1970s middle infielder. But you know what? He doesn't care.
No.
Because he's on first base.
I mean, that's Joey Votto in a nutshell.
Look at this approach.
This is classic 1970, 1980 approach. Choke up on the bat, just try to put it in play. And the old line, remember, we heard it growing up, just play pepper. And that's all he was trying to do, is play pepper with the baseball.
You almost never see that.
Well, you don't hear that phrase anymore.
Well, we're in the era of the launch angle, and you know how far you can hit it, what kind of velocity it comes off the bat. Charlie's got to dig for the baseball, and he'll get there. And Suarez is the second out. It's also a great example, Huey, for kids at home, and they hear a coach yell to them, or their dad or their mom say, hey, shorten up here, 2 strikes, shorten up. I think most kids don't even understand what, especially when they're young. What does it mean by that?
Rewind that swing from Joey Votto, and that's what it means. So if you're trying to teach your kid at home, say, hey, come here, I want to show you this.
Yep. That's
exactly what you do.
Dangerous man, and Adam Duvall hasn't hit for much average this year, but he's got light tower power. 64 home runs over his last 2 years. Ball and a strike. Duvall was an all-star 2 years ago. Not a lot of people probably around the game scrambling, saying, who's this guy?
Right. Well, the Reds just haven't been a good club lately.
This is pop foul out of play.
So when your club's not good, you don't get the notoriety unless you are Joey Votto. But some of the other guys, last year the Reds were 68 and 94.
They have the 5th pick. It's Jim Riggleman. They have the 5th pick in the June 4th amateur draft, the Rule 4 draft.
Yeah, Rule 4. You don't hear that much. You hear Rule 5.
Yeah, nobody ever calls it that. High fly ball to fairly deep left center field. Parra will make the catch in the inning. Scooter Gennett hit a home run, so the Reds have a 1-0 lead. See the Rockies on offense when we come back. One thing he's reminding him is solo home runs won't beat you.
Not at all.
Typically. Well, we talked about how warm it was last night, not a lot of wind. Tonight's conditions aren't much different than last night.
No, even though it's overcast, don't be fooled.
Yep. Southwest batting order for the Rockies tonight. Charlie last night single and a double. David Dahl threw out a couple of hits as well. Nolan behind him. Then Parra, Story, Ian Desmond, McMahon again back in there. He'll bat 7th. Just called back to the big leagues today if you're late to the party. Chris Iannetta and Anderson against a 23-year-old who's already in his 2nd big league season, Tyler Mahle.
3-6 out on the road. He's 2-3 with the 4.44 ERA. See the fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, but almost 83% of his strikeouts come via the fastball.
Charlie had that on the knuckles, 0-2.
Yeah, and the thing for Tyler, because we have the matchup of the Tylers today, he can pitch at 89 to 90, but then he can go get 96.
I was talking to Jim Riggleman about that earlier today. He said he really knows how to add and subtract, which is something that is usually associated with a more veteran guy.
Really the first guy that I remember from my playing days, and he's still playing, Bartolo Colon, when he was with the Indians, could do that. You know, he'd pitch at 92, 93, and then he could dial it up to 97 when he wanted to.
Not anymore, but he's still pitching.
And he's still throwing a lot of fastballs.
Still throwing a lot of fastballs. Just celebrating his 45th birthday
He's
yesterday.
still first in all of baseball with the percentage of fastballs that he throws.
Amazing.
83% of the time he throws a fastball. Colon at 45.
Crazy. Outside, good eye.
Yep. Well off the Subaru strike zone, just a little run on it.
Charlie looking at Mahle for the first time. Shattered bat. This is going to be a hit.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Well, that died a proud soldier.
Yes, it did. Now, this is the classic getting sawed off on this Subaru Supermo. Yeah, he likes to pitch upstairs, Tyler does. But with the minor shift on with Charlie, that works out just fine. Charlie 2 hits last night and another hit tonight.
So here's David Dahl. David's an aggressive hitter. A lot of times we'll say, you know, it's a 0-2 count with Dahl at the plate. But I like his mentality. He's coming up there, and if you throw him a first pitch fastball, if it's in the zone, he's firing at it.
And why not? When a guy throws as many fastballs as Mahle does, be aggressive on the fastball. Why would you want to wait and get to a slider or a curveball or a changeup?
Back-to-back days. Sal Romano, same way. He threw his fastball close to 70% of the time. That's the adding and subtracting right there. And Dahl is out at first base. It's a 4.63 turn. I don't know if that was truly a changeup or he just backed off his heater.
And that's the hard part about it. When somebody's 23 years of age and knows how to do that, puts the governor on the baseball, and then can take it off, that's pitching.
So with 2 outs and nobody on, it'll be Nolan Arenado's turn. Last night, the home run he hit early in the game went 425 feet. Just to the right at dead center field.
Came off the bat at 104 miles an hour.
Now this is one area where this kid has struggled. He's given up 13 home runs this year. In fact, in his last outing, he gave up 3 home runs against the Cubs.
Yeah, he's tied with his teammate Homer Bailey with the most in the National League.
Yeah, Homer is named Homer, but didn't want to give up a lot of homers. Homer may end up in the bullpen
Well, that'd
in
be
the not too distant future.
a gutsy move for the Reds with a guy that's making $20 million.
He's popped up right side. Votto has room, but didn't make the catch.
Right down there by Bo's camera. Couldn't reach around it.
Bo, did you distract him? Taylor's down there also.
Taylor's down there too. You okay, Taylor? Okay, she's good. It's pretty close. Joey's trying to peek and find out where the wall is. You got a lot of different things going on, and then off the edge of the glove on the Subaru Super Mode.
1-2. You can see Votto showing a little bit of disgust when he went back to his position. You can see it on his face right now. He thought he should have caught that baseball.
He's still mumbling to himself.
Yeah. No sport makes you talk in the third person more than baseball. Joey, what earth were you thinking about?
I mean, golf might be right up there too. Right? Those two sports where it's just you sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree. Both of those sports. Center field, and Billy Hamilton will cut it off. Rockies got a base hit from Blackman. That was erased on the double play ball off the bat of Dahl. 1-0 going to the second. Reds in front on the Jeanette home run.
Starting at center base or second base for the Rockies tonight in place of DJ LeMahieu, who has been on the disabled list since May 14th. Now, DJ, out with a thumb injury, is finally showing signs that he's on his way back, out taking batting practice. This is the second day in a row that he's picked up a live bat. I asked him, how's it feel to be back out there swinging a bat? He says, I'm just so ready to get back. And then I was talking to Rockies athletic trainer Keith Duggar, and he says the problem with a guy like DJ is he wants to get back so bad that we really got to make sure it's not too fast. Drew?
Yeah, athletes lie, especially when it comes to their health. And a guy like DJ, he hates missing an at bat, much less a game or a series of games.
I was talking to him today. I said, DJ, how you doing? He goes, I am so anxious to get back out there again. He goes, if I could hit left-handed, I would. That's how bad he
And you
wanted.
want to know what?
He could probably
I believe
do
that.
it.
He could probably do it also, as
Right.
gifted as he is athletically. 1-1 strike on Brandon Dixon. Just came to the big leagues a few days ago. University of Arizona product. He's got an interesting tool set. Former third-round pick. He's got a little bit of pop. Last year he had 16 home runs in Louisville. He can run a little bit. 18 stolen bases last year in Louisville.
Well, when you can do those sorts of things, they'll get you in the big leagues. See if it translates.
2-2 on Dixon. Tony Cruz. And the pitcher Malley to follow.
Like the socks too, Drew. Look at those things.
Those are awesome.
And then also the catcher's gear this year is new, where they've also added a camo. Yeah, it is legit. I agree.
That's one of the all-time great chest protectors I've ever seen.
Isn't it? Before they wouldn't do that for the catchers. Who was it we saw for Mother's Day? Oh, Ted Barrett. Ted Barrett on Mother's Day.
That's right.
Had the mask. Bruce Dreckman has the hat tonight, home plate umpire. But that is legit. I agree.
You know, well, you're right. They should take care of the umpires. I mean, that was the first guy I've seen who had something in the spirit of the holiday. This is on one hop going to go to second. McMahon's got to get behind the throw. See, Dixon runs pretty well.
And the other thing, though, for Ryan, this wasn't easy because this ball almost hit second base.
In the air, you and I are right behind him.
Yeah.
We're wondering, is
like,
that thing going to hit the bag?
Oh boy.
We had one a couple weeks ago that happened, right?
Yep, we had one skip off the bag. How close it was on the Subaru Supermo, maybe about 6 inches in front. And the strong arm to get Dixon by a step.
One out, and here's Tony Cruz. Cruz is 0 for his last 11 at the plate. And he takes a fastball for strike one at 93. Anderson a no decision in his last outing in San Francisco. 5 runs in 5 1/3. And Cutter ekes up Tony Cruz 0-2. First time at Coors Field that Anderson has faced the Reds. And this is lined toward the gap. Cut off nicely by Blackman, and a hold Cruz to a single. So a base hit on an 0-2 delivery. That's always painful for a pitcher. And that'll bring up Tyler Malley. He just stared down Billy Hatcher. You played with Billy, didn't you?
And I played against him in
high school. That's right. He and his brother.
Yeah, his brother Johnny. I played against him when they were at Williams High School, right off of I-40.
Up in the sticks of Arizona.
Yeah, west of Flagstaff. So anybody that's driven I-40 across Arizona, you go right through Billy Hatcher's hometown.
How far west of Flagstaff?
It was about 40 miles. Williams was. Yeah, played him in a doubleheader one game. He pitched and his brother Johnny caught. And then the next game,
they switched.
They switched.
And you guys,
you
got beat twice.
Yep.
Got on the bus and went home.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hatcher brothers were pretty good. 0-2. 1-2 on Malley.
I don't think they take the bunt sign off.
They may put it back on.
In case he hits it on the ground, there's a double play.
Guess not. Hits it in the air pretty well to center field. Charlie going back, and he makes the catch. That was strange a little bit because Charlie retreated as if he had it the whole way, and evidently he did, but it took a lunge at the end.
And a leap. I mean,
a lunge and a leap,
yeah.
You're right.
Well, he's playing in the off gap. Not quite expecting the pitcher to hit one this far right over his head. But Charlie eyeballed it on the Subaru Supermo. This was after he had put his head down and kind of ran to a spot. That was a wonderful catch by Charlie.
2 outs, and Billy Hamilton, switch hitting center fielder, in from the right side. And Billy pops this up, an easy play for Story. Good inning for Anderson. He did give up an 0-2 hit to Tony Cruz. Middle of 2, it's 1-0 Cincinnati. last night off the bench. Noel Cuevas got a pitch up and away, and he drove it up and away. To the right field corner was a triple. It scored Tony Walters. Difference in the ball game. First career triple as well for Cuevas. Got a nice little impact on this Rockies club since he was brought to the big leagues, and he brings a smile to the yard every day also.
Well, and it's fun to watch him go about his job every day too. And I thought last night was very important because it was right on right. You know, they gave him a chance late in the game to come up against a right-hander.
Yeah, most of his work, to your point, has been against lefties. All of his starts have been against lefties. One 1-0 on Gerardo Parra against Malley. And it's 2-0. Tyler Malley was a 7th round pick out of Westminster High School in Southern California.
Back in 2013.
His brother Greg was taken the next year by the Angels in the 15th round.
He's still pitching in the Angels system.
Pretty good baseball family. We were talking to Jim Riggleman for a while today, and he raves about this kid, just the makeup of the kid and how strong a character he is. And he compared him to a guy that he had in Washington who has had a pretty fair career, Jordan Zimmerman. There's a great bunt, and you better eat the baseball. Love it.
Outstanding.
You know, you don't think your cleanup hitter typically doing that, but Parra's not your typical cleanup hitter. Take what the defense will give you, A, and B, with the offense struggling to produce base runners, this is a great play.
Well, and he sees where Suarez is playing, so he doesn't have to worry about being too cute with the ball right down the third base line. Bunt and then run. So many times you see guys running out of the box and then trying to bunt with it while it's, you know, as the ball's coming in. So bunt, then run. What
a great piece of advice. You're absolutely right. You see kids, especially young players, they think you're running and bunting. And that's hard to do. Here's Story. And a base hit the other way. Parra will stop at second. The other reason there was the element of surprise here, not only that you're not expecting the guy who's batting fourth to do it, but he had a strike on him.
Yeah, 2-1 count. Thinking, oh, he's going to get a fastball, but fastballs are good pitches to bunt on because you don't have to worry about waiting or, you know, bending the knees to make sure you get down to get that pitch. And as I said, all you worry about is just kind of get it past that pitcher because the third baseman wasn't going to be able to field it.
Now, I know this isn't college baseball, but the last thing, one of the last things you'd expect right now is another bunt. And if you pushed it right now, you'd probably wreak a little bit of havoc.
Oh, where Joey Votto is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't expect that to happen, though. What Desmond has to do, and you know he has one of the highest ground ball rates in baseball. The Rockies as a club, this is part of their issue. They have the 3rd highest ground ball rate offensively in baseball.
48.4%.
Hey,
right.
How about that?
Yeah, there's only 2 teams that have a higher ground ball rate. The Marlins and the Padres.
And what do we know about the Marlins and the Padres?
Young team.
They're young teams that are struggling offensively. One on Desmond. And he's got to get up the line. And that has been killing the Rockies. Too many situations like that, and you know, fly ball there, okay, even a strikeout there, but that's 2 outs, and that's a painful trip back to the dugout for Ian.
45th double play that the Padres have turned.
So here's McMahon with a runner at third. Rockies down 1-0.
Did I say Padres? I meant the Reds. We were talking about the Padres.
Yeah, we knew what you meant.
Okay.
So here's McMahon in his return to the big leagues. Ryan down in Albuquerque last 10 days had really picked it up. Initially he was struggling when he was first sent down. 8 for his last 24 down in Albuquerque. He's hit some home runs. Tardy on that swing, and it's a ball and a strike.
We had 3 home runs down for the Isotopes. 16 RBIs.
And another fastball, and it's in the middle of the plate. He said he likes to work up in the zone.
And it's 4-seam. There's not much run or cut on it. Back in and up again. You kind of pick out on the Subaru strike zone where they're trying to attack. And it's not just for Ryan, although that's part of it, but it's for Tyler Mahle. That's his comfort zone.
Two-two. And a ground ball to Suarez, and he makes a good play on the backhand to throw out McMahon. So the Rockies had a promising inning going. First 2 men reached on base hits, but it does not end well. 1-0. At RM on Twitter to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during the post-game show. All right, who's your favorite Tyler? See, I get the theme here. You got Anderson, you got Mahle. Tyler Perry, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith fame, Mary Tyler Moore, the late Mary Tyler Moore, Tyler Durden. I didn't see the Fight Club.
I have not, but I'm going to go with C.
I love Mary Tyler Moore.
Ed Asner.
It's a great show. Ted Knight. That was a great show. Groundbreaking in a lot of ways. And my my next choice would be Steven Tyler. Center field and shallow. Here comes Charlie, and he makes the catch.
Charlie's had to hustle 2 or 3 times tonight. Couple in front of him, and then that ball over his head by Tyler Mahle.
Oh, Steven Tyler hit that one.
That was Steve.
Steven Tyler.
Well, this is just second time this year that the Tylers have met up. And I'm not saying Tyler Anderson. Tyler Mahle and Tyler Chatwood matched up earlier this year.
Okay. Has Chatty had a start since that rough outing where he walked 6 in the first 2+? Here's Scooter Gennett. He's the difference in the game. A solo home run. He fires at that first pitch. I had an interesting conversation with him tonight around the cage. I asked him if he learned to hit from his dad, because he went to Florida State. His dad was an associate scout, and he pointed to himself. He said, I taught myself to hit.
Really?
Yeah. That's a good looking pitch, just missed evidently on the Subaru strike zone. 1-1. And then I asked him, I said, how much fuel did you get from Milwaukee releasing you? And he said it was motivating. He said, you know, I'd never really had a chance to be an everyday guy. I really wasn't getting a chance in Milwaukee. And he said, and even going to Cincinnati, I knew I had to earn my time. Well, he earned his time as a regular, and now he's a guy that, you know, I'm sure the fan base in Cincinnati, I know the fan base in Cincinnati wants to see the Reds sign him to a long-term deal. And the numbers he's putting up the last 2 years would support that. 1-2, and there's a base hit the other way for Jeanette.
That is 62 hits on the season for Scooter.
And he obviously pulled the home run, but he and Joey Votto, here's a similarity between the two. The other, you know, both, well, Joey's not right now, but he typically hits over 300, 312 lifetime average. Jeanette's over 300. They use left field.
You have to. I mean, very few guys can hit 300 just using half the field. You know, that remember the game we used to play growing up, Over the Line, where you could only use half of the field because you didn't have enough fielders?
Sure.
So you just blocked off part of it. That's how you learn to hit.
Yeah.
Playing those little games.
Problem is, when we did it in our neighborhood, we did it on the pull side, so everybody
Okay,
was bailing and wailing.
We couldn't do that a lot because there was one particular house you couldn't do it. You
The guy would come out and yell at
he
you.
would yell at you.
There's always that neighbor,
Right.
isn't
I get another ball in my yard. I'm keeping it.
there? That guy.
That guy.
Votto behind in the count, punched a single to left against Anderson in the first.
He went.
I honestly think if you gave him a 1-2 count for 550 at bats in a season, he'd still hit above 250. I really believe that.
I do too. Well, bat control. He's hitting 296 with a 1-2 count this year.
And then he does that frequently, gets the count even and then back in his favor. Joey Votto reached 1,000 walks in 1,446 games. It is the fourth fewest games to reach 1,000 walks in the history of the National League. That's why he has a career on base percentage of .427. Strike three.
Should have been according to the Subaru strike zone. That was nails at the knee.
You got Votto there, Tyler. That was
if that was Mike Votto, he would have been struck out, but not Joey Votto.
Joey Votto gets to stay up there. You're right. Mike and David and Billy,
Larry.
Bob, and all those guys, they're out. Jeanette takes off late, ball 4. And I bet your buddy's not pleased with that. Bruce Streckman, there were 2 borderline pitches that very easily could have been called a strike. And Buddy will let you know. You can't, quote unquote, argue balls and strikes.
And the one thing that managers can see is north-south. They can see from the knees up to the belt. They can't see side to side. But when Chris is setting up and where he catches the ball, managers, pitching coaches, hitting coaches can all see that angle.
Here's Suarez. And that's way in on Suarez. Fly ball to center field for Eugenio, his first time up.
It's 40 RBIs. They lead the National League.
He leads the National League. Huey, he missed half of April.
I know, 16 ball games. But he is an RBI machine. It's the best RBI to plate appearance ratio in all of baseball.
said it last night. He's one of the better players in the game. You probably don't know a lot about. Fought off out of play by Suarez.
Yeah, two of the top 4 guys in the National League RBIs playing in this game. And that's all of baseball. So you got Machado, JD Martinez, and Suarez. But Baez has 38, Bryce Harper has 36, and Trevor Story with 35. So those are the top 4 in the National League.
One and two on Suarez. By the way, did you happen to see who played shortstop today for the Toronto Blue Jays?
Russell Martin.
I thought it had to be, oh, you know, something got ugly. It was a 15-inning game, and they ran out of players, and they had to roll Martin out. He started there.
Started there. They've had a black hole at shortstop in Toronto.
Tulowitzki's not going to be back, I guess, anytime soon. This is popped up. McMahon calling for it. Ryan's got it. 2 outs. Fans, join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, comments, questions, photos on Twitter. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk.
Yeah, Russell Martin also broke up the no-hitter that was going against Toronto today.
That's what shortstops do.
That's right.
Adam Duvall hit a fly ball to fairly deep left field his first time up. And good change of speed there from Tyler.
Good change up.
That's outside. Ball and a strike. Jeanette singled. Votto walked. And this is popped up also to left center field. Charlie makes the catch. Good pitching by Tyler Anderson with a little bit of traffic out there. Middle of 3, Rockies trailing 1-0. Your first choice for fun. Look who's in the house. Tito, Brian Fuentes. First thing he does, he goes talk to Dwayne Espy, the hitting coach.
Yeah, strange. He was the only one standing there.
There you go.
Caught the first pitch too.
Little scoop. You see that?
Yeah, I did see that. That was nice.
Good stuff. And the jersey still fits, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure. They adjusted a little bit, but it slipped on.
It slipped on.
Yeah.
Didn't have to grease it up or anything. Chris Iannetta leading off in the third inning against Tyler Malley. Huey just asked you a question off camera, and I'm going to ask him to ask it again of you on camera because I think it's funny.
All I thought of was what advanced metric, because that's the big thing in the game right now. What was your advanced metric?
Oh man, we didn't really have a whole bunch. It was, you know, we'd go over hitters obviously and go over tendencies, but it was more like, yeah, this guy's a first pitch hitter, first pitch fastball swinger. You know, chases soft late, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't too many like letters and jumbled together and all that stuff.
XFIP.
Yeah.
Now, what did you pay attention to? Obviously, you were closer most of your career. I mean, do you pay attention? Honestly, I got 20 saves and 22 opportunities, or was there something else? Strikeout to walk ratio? Was there something statistical you did look at?
I never looked at really my own statistics as far as like figuring out like what where I wanted to be. I was more interested in the hitters, you know, guys that I was going to see late in games, guys on the bench, guys that can hurt me the other way, where I'm pitching at, you know, and ultimately I would just pitch to my strengths, you know, like, you know, the way I believe you should do. But, you know, who knows, maybe nowadays they'd have you pitch away if the metrics called so, you know, I don't know.
The game has changed in that regard. And the other thing that we've seen, and I want to get your comment on it, recently Sergio Romo is like the designated starter for Tampa, and to me it's fascinating where you have a guy like yourself who's a lights out 3-out guy. There's a leadoff walk for Iannetta in front of Tyler Anderson, and you start the game, you say, you know what, they got two tough lefties at the top of their lineup. The heck with it. We're going to start Fuentes today, and then in the second inning we'll roll in the guy who was originally supposed to start, and maybe it's more, you know, easier for him to get into the 7th or the 8th. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I didn't like it at all.
Didn't like it. No,
if you can't get the first two guys out in the game, like, you know, maybe you should like pick a different profession. I mean,
you can just see the look on his face. I don't blame him.
I don't know. And you know, I've heard before that, you know, you should maybe use your closer in the 6th or 7th inning if it's the most pivotal point of the game. You know, that actually makes a little more sense to me than starting your closer, because you feel like he's going to get you off to the best start.
Here's what I've always believed, and Jeff's job was to be an offensive guy, obviously, as a position player. I think, and what you guys did in the 9th inning, you know, it's now Wade Davis. There's a low throw. They're going to get the force out. Good play by Votto. So 1 out, and the sack bunt attempt does not work out, and that'll bring up Blackman. But going back to what we're talking about is that those 3 outs, the 25th, 26th, 27th out, not that guys aren't trying in the first 8 innings,
right,
but there's such a heightened level of focus when those guys come in to face a closer when the game's truly on the line, 1 or 2 runs.
Yeah.
So I just think your job's that much harder.
I believe so, you know, and not that guys ever give away at bats, like you said, you know, they don't just go through the first couple innings and not try, but later in the game they're going to, you know, probably take a pitch, you know, depending on the score, maybe they'll try to jump you early, but most times they're going to take a pitch. So if you fall behind, now you're going to be getting into a hitter's count, rather than, you know, just free swinging and kind of doing what they want to do earlier in the game. But yeah, you know, I do believe that the hitters are a little more fine focused late in the game, and you're not going to see the, you know, the 8-9 hitters. You're going to see guys off the bench, you know, so there's not too many easy outs.
What does it mean for you right now to have your name in the history book here as having the 2nd lowest ERA at Coors Field, 3.42?
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of that. You know, I knew the saves record was there, but the ERA was just, it just happens, you know. It's not like you.
But what I'm saying is, did you feel any different pitching here at Coors Field?
No.
Or did you say, hey, this is my home ballpark and this is my strength?
Yeah, I cut my teeth here. You know, I pitched most of my career here. I came up here as kind of a lefty, you know, mop-up guy, really. You know, pitching in the 6th or coming in, you see a lefty maybe in the 5th or 6th, and then I progressively worked my way up. So I learned how to pitch here. It wasn't a matter of whether or not I wanted to. I had no other choice. So I pitched here, and I didn't seem to bother me any.
One of the things I love is that under Buddy Black and Steve Foster, and it starts at the top with Jeff Bridich and his group, Darren Holmes, there's never mention altitude. There's never mention, hey, we're going to do it a little differently when we're at home than we are when we go to Los Angeles or San Francisco. And I think that mentality, as now Charlie draws a walk, is so important to have the mental toughness that forget, you know, yes, it's a great offensive park. And you embody that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. I think that's where teams get into trouble coming into Coors Field, feeling like they have to snap that curveball a little bit harder, or you know, press that fastball, get a little more on the fastball because the ball's going to travel more, and they try to do something that they're not really used to doing, and it can get you in trouble.
2 on now for David Dahl. How much do you watch the game? Are you able to peek in a little bit? I know you're busy in the almond business.
Yeah, you know, I watch quite a few games, but it's usually snippets of games. So I'll either catch the first 3, and then I'll, you know, get up and take the trash out, or you know, got to do something else. But I follow up on MLB Network or something.
What's one of your greatest memories coming back into this ballpark?
Oh man, you know what was great? It's just walking through the halls and seeing a lot of the employees here, really. You know, the people that have been here for so long and were here before me, and coming in, and people with a smile, and, hey Brian, good to see you, you know, welcome back. And you know, every time I come here I get that, and it's very personable, and it makes you feel good. You walk into the clubhouse, see a lot of the same staff. You know, the players have kind of come and gone, and there's not, you know, I don't recognize as many players as I used to, if any, but the staff here at Colorado has always been very kind to me.
Outside. Yeah, we say this. You hear it a lot. You played in other organizations. This is a special organization. It sounds like, you know, we're being the hopeless homer here, but you hear it consistently from veteran players that have moved around the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. You know, I've been, you know, 5 or 6 teams, and I can definitely vouch for that.
Yep.
And also the commissioner of the fantasy league this past year.
Yeah. Impromptu commissioner. that was fun.
Frazier had the bail late.
Yeah.
And
Tito.
One of the little known things, you know, fans may not realize this. Tito, I'd say closet funny.
Closet funny. Yeah. I'll slip in a one-liner every now and then.
Yeah. Sneaky funny. 3 and 2.
So tell us about the almond business. I mean, how did you get into almonds? It
was kind of weird. I had family that was in it a while back, and still in it, but you know, they approached me to do it when I was still playing. I was like, oh, I'm not looking to grow almonds. You know, I'm not interested. You know, it's nothing. I was traveling and playing.
This ball's driven to deep center field. Hamilton going back, still going back. It short hops the wall. Anderson will score. Blackman's in his hip pocket. Charlie will score. Rockies take the lead 2-1. David Dahl coming through.
Well, he didn't miss that fastball.
That looked like a cargo 1-iron.
Yeah, he gets a 4-seam fastball on the Subaru Supermo, gets all the way through it. Kind of turned Billy Hamilton around in center field, but Charlie Blackman had the read on this because he's right in Tyler's back pocket. And he's chugging on home, and the Rockies take the lead 2-1. A great read by Charlie. He had the best angle on it because he could see where the ball was going in relation to Billy Hamilton, so he knew he wasn't going to catch it, so he could already get around second base.
And now here's Nolan, who lined out to Hamilton his first time up.
So go ahead and finish. So you were in the
almonds. Yeah. So I got, you know, the almond thing came up again when I was done playing, and I was like, well, let's take a look at it, you know. And I'm looking at a $.cents thing, and you know, something a little different, and you know, get some real estate and do some stock market stuff. Why not try farming? So I got into it, and you know, 4 years later, I'm still in it, making a little money.
So do you walk the crops quite often?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, you pretty much water.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, we started off, we planted the trees and then grew them from saplings, and then after third year, you get your first crop, and then or you get your first, you know, nuts, and then you harvest those, and then every year after that until the 5th year, and they get bigger and bigger. From 5 to 25, it's, you know, you're going full tilt.
How many acres?
50. Yeah, 50.
So how many trees on?
Right there at Merced?
About 7,500.
Okay.
7,500 trees. Yeah, right in Merced, maybe 20 minutes from the house.
Oh,
So we'll
perfect.
drive out there, check on them, make sure everything's good. The trees look good. You know, you get out and, you know, check them for bugs and, you know, make sure they're.
It's a lot of trees. It's a lot of trees to check
not
for
each
bugs.
tree, but just, you know, you sporadically walk through the
It's
orchard.
just fun to listen to guys. I mean, Chris Ionetta is in the wine business. It's just interesting to hear what guys do after they're done playing.
Yeah, yeah.
So many times
I
you
never would've
kind of
thought.
search.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, with 4 kids, I had plenty of things to do, but that was just something else that came up as kind of a investment opportunity.
Tito, was it a tough transition? You had a nice long career, great career. How tough was it?
It wasn't at all.
It
really wasn't at all. You know, I kind of stepped away from the game in the middle of, or towards the end of 2000 or 2012, and when I left, I was on good terms, man. It was just such a grind emotionally, and, you know, physically and mentally. It was just wearing on me, you know. So when I stepped away, I knew that, you know, I was done, and I don't miss, you know, all the emotional highs and lows and all the hard work to get to, you know, I mean, pitching, that's like the best time, right? It's like
Sure.
You work so hard to get to that moment to compete, but everything else in between, I was good, man. You know, that being said, I also miss the guys, the camaraderie, the locker room, the flights, all that good stuff.
So you're back here this weekend for a little celebration.
Yep. Yep. The 25-man roster, all-time Rockies roster. I was, you know, fortunate enough to be elected to that, and it was cool. Came back and had a nice conversation with Chris and Sully, and relived some old memories.
We put, you know, this 25-man roster together for AT&T, and you're on it. I'm not going to tell you exactly where, but we're well into the season, so you're not 25th or 20th.
I will say you're ahead of Addy and Brad Hop. How's that?
It's pretty good, right? Here's Parra with 2 outs trying to drive in Dahl. And this is in the air to left field. If you can hang for a sec, I'll ask you on the other side. Duvall makes the catch. Rockies take the lead on a 2-run double off the bat of David Dahl. Hit it 4-10 straight away. Subaru is Subaru. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by T-Mobile. Show your military appreciation and use the hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. T-Mobile will donate $1 for each post. Rockies posted 2 runs last inning, and as we go to the 4th, it's Colorado 2 and the Cincinnati Reds 1. With Jeff Hewson and Taylor McGregor, I'm Drew Goodman. Old friend Brian Fuentes is with us, making a stop back this weekend, coming from the West Coast. So I was starting to ask you about all-time characters in the bullpen. You guys have a lot of idle time.
Yeah, too much.
Too much idle time. And once you go down there, I mean, even if you're a normal guy, you go down there, and if you spend enough time down there, you come out of that experience and you're different, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Like yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who do you have for somebody that?
There was a lot of weird characters, but probably the weirdest trick I've ever seen down there was by Randy Flores, the lefty Randy Flores.
Yeah.
Crafty lefty, very funny guy, very funny. And one day he tells me, "Hey Tito."
Things that start with "Hey
Yeah,
Tito"
Tito,
is
yeah,
usually
yeah.
a problem,
Right.
right?
Yeah. He's like, you ever got a trick that you could do that no one else could do? I was like, I mean, I don't know. I can juggle. Like, I don't know. What are you talking about? He's like, well, I can actually produce milk. I was like, what do you mean you can produce milk? He's like, watch this. And he squeezes his breast and milk comes out. That's what happened. That's a bullpen story. But you guys wanted to hear it. I mean,
I don't know where to go
I don't
with
know,
that. You know,
but
I'm not
that's-
usually rendered speechless, but I'm pretty close.
that happened
It did.
right out there. It was in a bathroom actually, but it happened.
I'm going to look at Flores a little differently now.
Yeah, I think he's doing some TV stuff. Bring it
They
up on
say
air.
he's actually back.
He's back in the baseball side.
Yeah, he's scouting director, I believe, for the Cardinals.
Oh, you can put that on his resume.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the broadcast business for a while, and then he told us about that, and we kicked him out.
Well, now we brought it up again.
Yeah, that's very nice. I'm glad we went there.
You asked.
Yeah,
You did
I should
ask,
know.
Drew.
No, I asked for
You
a
did,
character.
yeah,
He went
yeah.
to yeah.
Story.
That's oh man.
Netta trying to get to the baseball, and Tony Cruz was in the way. He's not doing anything wrong. So 90 feet lost as Dixon, who walked, moves up. He's a tying run, nobody out, fourth inning. It'll be a wild pitch. You know what's cool? We talk about this every January, and Huey alluded to this. Fantasy camp is a blast for all the campers that partake, and so many keep coming back. And if you're listening right now, you got to sign up for a fantasy camp in your future, because if you're a baseball fan, you're oh man, this ball was clipped to left field, and the Rockies' lead is short-lived as Tony Cruz hits his first home run of the year. A two-run shot here in the fourth, and it's 3-2 Cincinnati.
He'd come into the game tonight 2 for 22. Oh, he's 2 for 2 on the evening. There's no doubt about this one from Cruz. Straight four-seam fastball in the Subaru Supermo. Wanted to get it underneath the hands of Cruz and didn't get it far enough in.
Malley takes a strike, but we have a blast at fantasy camp. What I always find that's neat is that you guys, the former players who serve as the staff, the coaches, the commissioner in your case last year, you truly have a great time.
Really good time.
Yeah.
Really good time. And then I spoke of this earlier today and talked about the first opportunity I had to do it. I wasn't super overly excited about it. I heard that some of my ex-teammates were going to be there. Fogger was going to be there, and Francis was going to be there. I was like, sweet, it's like a reunion.
Sure.
We'll go over there and hang out with some like older people and go coach them. And I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun. And then once I got there, I had a blast, man. You meet all these guys from different walks of life, all these different jobs, and you see the effort that they're putting forth, and they're grinding, man. They're playing for keeps, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I've been back for the last 5 years, and it's good seeing the repeat campers out there and seeing the new campers come in and hearing their story. And
we call them repeat offenders.
Repeat offenders. You make some really good friends.
And he won it a couple times too.
Yeah, 3 in a row.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
Have you done, Huey?
Hey, we won 3 games this year.
You did. That's a big step up, right?
Thank
Which
you.
was more than like the previous 4
Yeah,
years combined.
You tripled your win percentage.
No, it is a blast. That is so much fun.
Yeah.
Tons of fun.
And it's twofold for you guys because it is a reunion week for you guys.
Yeah, you would think that we'd just sit and hang out with each other, but the campers are so much fun. We usually end up, hanging out with them. Just
So
I think
those
part
big
of the best
tables.
time, afterwards at night, maybe at having a few pops.
yeah.
That is what,
It's the best
honestly,
time.
I mean, you guys, I obviously love to still go out there and hack around, but that is what we all look forward to.
The story.
Late at night when everybody limps into the hotel bar. Billy Hamilton trying to bunt his way on 1-2. Did you ever look at some deliveries, and you had a unique delivery, and you came to it once you were already in pro ball when you dropped down, when you were still in Seattle's organization. But do you look at some delivery like Tyler Anderson? It's unique. It's a little different.
Yeah.
You go, wow, that looks funky.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of Francis. Francis had that little leg. No, nothing like that. But
Right.
he kind of had that high up down little thing working, but it is different. And to him, you know, you could probably try to tell him to stop, and I'm not sure he could. You know.
He's going to take a walk. He's upset. He's ahead 1-2 on Hamilton, who from the right side strikes out at a 40% clip. Not going to strike out, but he's going to pop out. Anderson was going to catch it, but that's illegal.
That's
you know
false
that.
hustle. Like you run under it just for show.
That was yeah.
Yeah.
How many pop-ups did you catch in your big league career?
0.
0?
Get out of the way.
Yeah, I just run under it and act like, oh, I got this, boys. I got it, and then waiting to hear someone to call you off.
I think that is one of the sillier unwritten rules in baseball, and here's why. If there is, on the occasion that the ball's popped up literally where it's around the mound on the dirt, you have a first baseman and a third baseman typically coming, maybe a shortstop, right? And they're looking up, and all of a sudden they get stumbled going up the hill of the mound. You're already on the mound. Did you forget how to catch a pop-up?
True. Well, it's a little different. Usually, if the ball's popped up in the infield, one, it hasn't been touched squarely. Okay, so the ball has a ton of spin on it, and you know, if you're experienced enough, you know, you can just play it back and know the ball's going to come back into you. But in the heat of the moment, you might have got spun around. I mean, these guys on the corners, they've been doing it for a long time. The mound's been there a long time. They know it's there. Just run over there and catch the ball.
It's not going to move.
Help me.
Huey wanted it. He wanted to get as many putouts as he could, right?
Exactly. There was no bad hops on a fly ball.
3.
Right? So that's why I
that.
wanted to catch every fly ball, because I thought that's much easier than a ground ball.
Let me tell you what, there's bad hops in San Francisco on pop-ups.
Well, that's, yeah, in Wrigley Field, but still,
yeah,
I'm still going to take it.
Outside, that's a walk to Peraza. Third walk allowed by Tyler. 3-2 Cincinnati. A couple home runs allowed by Anderson.
Did you
got a tough out? Scooter Jeanette coming up.
Yeah, did you keep every save baseball that you had?
I started to, and then something happened. I don't know. I just started, and then I started giving them away. To, like, you know, as I come off the field, I just throw it to a kid or something like that.
So what piece of memorabilia do you have that you truly cherish?
Oh man, you know, I had my 200th save, and then my first big league win, my roster and ball, and that's really it.
Do you have your All-Star jerseys?
I have my All-Star jerseys.
Yep. Do you have them framed? Good, because you know, I sometimes talk to guys like you.
Yeah.
I think Huey, you have a lot of your jerseys framed, right?
Yeah, no All-Star jerseys.
Yeah, I never thought I'd see another one. As soon as I got my first one, I put in a frame. I put it on the mantle.
At least you didn't do that with your first check like Ricky Henderson did his
Yeah,
bonus
right.
check, right?
Totally.
What from the 07 team?
Oh man, what do I have from 07? I have the champagne bottle from the NLCS. I have a lot of stuff from the NLCS, I think. You know, balls. There's a couple balls signed. There it is.
And they will get Peraza. That's the first time he's been caught stealing this year. Hey Tito, it's great to see you, man.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Tito, we'll see you down in Arizona.
Hey, congrats on top 25 distinction.
Yeah, thank you.
You got it. Brian Fuentes back in a couple. Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6, and get your Rockies taco special at Moss at Taco Bell. Always good to see Brian Fuentes, and it's always good to learn about some of the pranks that take place in the bullpen.
Some of the things that usually don't make air.
That one did.
That one did.
Trevor Story, a base hit to right in the second inning. Rockies had a brief 2-1 lead. Now they trail 3-2 after the 2-run home run by the catcher Tony Cruz. Ball and a strike on Story. Trevor, the first 5 weeks of the season, was striking out at about a 31-32% clip. The last 17 days, it's down around 23%.
Which is even a little bit lower than what he was.
That's almost, it's basically league average. It's almost league average.
Yeah, league average is 25%. But I was going to say back what he was doing in the minor leagues. I just think he's so much quieter.
This is in the air, right field line, and twisting out of play.
And I think that his first at bat too was a prime example of, okay, they pitch me away and I'll just shoot that ball to right field, not try to overpower it.
Good swing from Trevor. Since May 8th, Trevor's hitting the 280s. But more importantly, because he can do damage, his OPS on base plus slugging percentage is .929. Trying to do some damage here.
Right on the slider. Center cut on the Subaru strike zone.
And when Malley's gotten hurt, it's been more with his secondary stuff than his fastball. The league's hitting just .234 against his heater, which he favors. But slider,
317.
Change up, 320. Tough take, but turns out to be a good take. It's in the Subaru strike zone. Bruce Dreckman behind home plate tonight. Desmond on deck. And this is on the ground right at Jeanette.
Fans take a behind-the-scene tour of Coors Field. Group and individual tickets available year-round. Call 303 Rockies or go to Rockies.com/tours.
Desmond hit into a 6-4-3 his first time up. Takes high ball one. Rockies had 2 men on, nobody out. Rockies another one of those one-run games, Huey.
Already 13 this year that they played in.
9-4 in the last few years. One of the top records.
Yeah, the last 2 years, the Rockies are 30-18. That's where you get the .625 win percentage.
Two balls and a strike. And he went 2-2. Talking to Riggleman today about Ian Desmond, because he had Desi early in his career. You and I were both visiting with him about that, and he said he could pass things on to Desi that he wanted for the whole team. Strike three. Even as a young player, he had such great leadership characteristics even as a young player. And he said when Desi signed with the Rockies, he was really pleased that he was able to get a long-term deal, and after leaving Washington and maybe leaving a deal on the table there, and then becoming an all-star with Texas. And obviously, it's been a tough year for him, and Jim Riggleman acknowledged that. He said he's a guy you bet on.
Well, and just saw the embrace between Desi and Riggs, and you could tell it wasn't just one of those superficial type of, hey, how you doing? Good to see you again, Skip, type of hugs. It was genuine and heartfelt.
Ball on a strike on McMahon. He had a hard ground ball with Parra at third in the second inning. That Suarez fielded on the backhand to take a hit away. Just back to the big leagues. Pat Vallejo was sent down today. And McMahon was brought up.
Just trying to find some offense, not only at second base, but the bottom of the Rockies lineup. 2 pitches just a skosh above on the Subaru strike zone.
(3-1).
That's where Malley, excuse me, could dial it up.
Yeah, I mean, you remarked about that early in the game. He's 90, 91, 92, and then that was 96.
Yeah.
3-1 pitch. And again at 96.
Tyler threw a perfect game down in Double-A last April for their Pensacola team.
Well, and Danny Darwin was his pitching coach there.
Yeah, so in his very last pitch, he only threw 88 pitches that night. His very last pitch, he hit 100, and it was by 3 different guns. Because Danny was thinking, well, that's not, that can't be it. Somebody's just, messing with the numbers. But no, there was their own gun, the other team's gun, and there's Danny Darwin, and a scout's gun.
Another 3-2. And another foul ball.
If you're wondering what Lake Pensacola is, that's the Southern League. Long bus rides, Drew. Long bus rides.
You played in the Southern
League. I played in the Southern League, yeah. Ugh.
Hot. And long bus ride. Did the air conditioning ever go out on one of those bus rides?
3 times. One time from Jacksonville to Memphis, Tennessee. It went out 3 times.
In July, right?
It was hot.
Strike 3 on McMahon, and that's back-to-back called strike 3s on Desmond and McMahon. A 1-2-3 inning for Malley. 3-2 as we go to the 5th. The Reds in front.
14, the Rockies playing host to the National Play Campaign. It was an initiative created by the Professional Baseball Athletic Trainers Society to promote the importance of children living a healthy and active lifestyle. Carlos Estevez, Zach Roscup, Noel Cuevas, and all of the Rockies athletic training staff in attendance this morning to teach about 60 kids that baseball, it's all about fun. And Estevez saying it best. He said, you know, we got to have fun out here, whether you're in the little leagues or the big leagues, because once it becomes fun, then it's or no longer fun, then it's not a job anymore, you know. And we like to have fun at our job, as you can tell from me. I'm having a lot of fun. I got to take in the beautiful Rocky Mountains. Drew, do you ever have those days when you sit here like, oh my gosh, this is my job, I get to call baseball games for a living?
You know what? Most every day. We're really, especially coming here too. But yeah, we're lucky. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Love the game.
Look at
Love
that
what we
view.
do. Got a great group. Get to hear stories about Randy Flores in the bullpen. Doesn't get any better than that. I will tell you this. I was watching Taylor do that hit. I was getting a little vertigo.
Because she was so high up.
Yeah.
In the stadium. Oh, I see her way out there now.
Oh, I see her. Now she's
Hi.
waving.
Hi.
I have vertigo as well. Drew, reminded me of that time we were talking about skiing and my dad got vertigo. That's what I feel right now.
Yeah, well, stop waving. Get yourself to a lower altitude then, young lady.
I got it. I'm on my way.
You know what you forget? Because we come here so frequently, that's going to be a base hit. Scooter Jeanette's 3 for 3. Is that, you know, we're just at Dodger Stadium, right, Huey?
Yes.
Dodger Stadium's the biggest park in the National League. It's one of the biggest parks in baseball, right? Coors Field is one of the biggest parks in baseball. I mean, when this place is filled to the gills, tonight's pretty darn close, by the way. You're talking about when you get the SRO crowd, it's 50,000.
Yeah.
Joey Votto, a single and a walk.
This ballpark is just as beautiful today as it was when it opened.
This is clean, absolutely, too. Jeanette at first, his 8th 3-hit game, and Votto takes a strike. Joey, a .312 career hitter. His slugging percentage in his career is .537. 2010 MVP, runner-up last year. That's another strike. He's put together quite a resume.
He's 3rd all-time in games played for the Cincinnati Reds. Pete Rose is the leader on that one. Frank Robinson.
We were talking about the walks. There's only 2 guys in Reds history who've walked 1,000 times, Votto and Pete Rose. Tyler Anderson will get him this time on the fly ball to Parra. And that'll bring up Suarez. That's pulled foul. Suarez fly ball to center field, and he popped to second. Jeanette draws a throw. Two-run home run by Tony Cruz in the 4th. The difference right now in the game. Rockies trailing 3-2. Been out hit 6-4. Colorado won last night. Just 8 hits though, and winning 5-4.
Suarez came over in a trade from the Tigers. The Alfredo Simon trade in 2014. Venezuela.
Good block by Chris. The Rockies are winning their share of games, even without the offense lighting up the scoreboard because of their pitching. Last 27 games, a .365 ERA. 5th best in the National League during that span.
The 28th game, that was that ugly game against San Diego where they gave up all those runs.
Was it the 7th inning?
Yeah, I think it was the 7th inning in that game.
The inning that wouldn't end.
Kept going and going and going.
Ground ball to third. See if the Rockies can twist one. Yes, they can. Yeah, really nice turn, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Third baseman to a third baseman playing second base. 5-4-3. Iannetto lead off.
That.
See if Billy gets in a word here.
No, he hasn't said a word. He's just laughing.
Chris Iannetto at the plate. That pitch off the plate. Ball 1. All season, AT&T Sportsnet will be celebrating the Rockies' 25th anniversary by counting down the all-time top 25 players. Tune in next Tuesday as we celebrate number 18 on our list, Brad Hopp. You can join the conversation by sending in your favorite memories and photos of Brad using the hashtag ToyotaTalk25. Tito's on that list.
My favorite memory of Brad Hopp had to be that home run in San Diego.
Joe Thatcher. The Marine layer firmly established. Seemed like after midnight local time. 3-0 on Iannetto. Next pitch from Malley will be his 80th. He's pitched well.
And as advertised too.
And a base hit for Chris. Good start here to the 5th inning.
This is the way it was in the third inning when Chris had the leadoff single and Tyler was going to try to bunt him over. Ended up being a force play with Joey Votto coming in and getting the lead runner. That time when Chris had the walk, same situation.
And Cruz may take another shot. Yep. It's twice that Anderson got the bunt down and twice that they were able to get the force.
Hopefully it'll work out the same as it did in the third inning when the Rockies scored 2 runs. They ended up walking Charlie and then David Dahl hit the double.
Good defense by Cincinnati. Twice on bunts. That was, right out in front of the plate. The one that he bunted to the right side is what, if that was in practice on a backfield in March, probably be told, hey, nice job.
Well, and if it was,
but Votto got there quickly and made a good throw.
And it doesn't help that Chris was running.
Nope.
Okay, that's probably it more than anything. That bunt was just too close to home.
This ball's well hit left center field gap. It's going to get down. Anderson may have a chance to score. He'll get a green light from Stu Cole, and he'll score easily. Blackman on his way to third. Triple, and the game's tied. RBI number 24 for Chuck Nasty, 4th hit since he's returned home. Guess who's heating up?
And it's Charlie Blackman. Now Tyler Anderson had to run all the way from first base, so he'll get a little extra time to catch his breath. I like what Charlie's doing now. He's getting aggressive with the fastball. He turned on a couple last night. This time he goes into left center field. But watch Billy Hamilton. When he goes to pick up this baseball, he kind of drops it. Not just once, but drops it twice. This allowed Tyler to keep going. Stu Cole continually waving that arm to go home, and now you got to bring the infield in.
Here's Dahl, and David takes a pitch outside. David provided the Rockies with their first 2 runs when he hit a 410-foot line drive over Hamilton's head. That was in the 3rd. 8th and 9th RBIs for Dahl. He's looking for number 10.
The Subaru Statcast of the double off the bat of David. At 410 feet. See the exit velocity, the launch angle, all the particulars.
And this is popped up. Blackman in left. Is he going to go?
Yes.
He's going to challenge the arm of Duvall, and he beats it. Ball came out, and the Rockies take a 4-3 lead. So many things Charlie Blackman can do to beat you, and one of them, the speed. He still runs well.
Duvall has a strong arm, but he doesn't catch it with any momentum coming home. He catches it flat-footed, and then he double clutches to go get the baseball. Well, the slide coming right in.
And that knocked not only the ball out, it knocked the glove off the hand of Tony Cruz.
Well, this would have been an interesting...
Oh, actually, he never had it. It hit him in the back.
He never had it, and then they're going to have to come out and take a peek at Cruz. And that would have been an interesting call if he would have caught the ball and tagged Charlie out. Would it have been catcher's interference? I mean, all this thing, it doesn't matter now. But I like what Charlie did with the slide. Went feet first hard, right at the ankle. It's not a dirty play by any means. Just went really hard right at the catcher's leg, so he doesn't allow him to then block it and or catch the ball and apply a tag. So one more time, nothing wrong with this at all. He's going straight to the bag, and his foot just kind of clips the leg of Tony. Again on the Subaru Supermo, Charlie's is going right for the plate. Good news, Rockies have 1-run lead, and David Dahl has an RBI, his 3rd of the evening.
What a great view of that. Everything, because then you see the glove drop and the ball drop. 4-3 Colorado. And Nolan hits the ball in the air, right field line. This is a long run, and it's foul, as Brandon Dixon couldn't get there.
And I guarantee you, just go back to that play for a moment ago, that one of the first guys who went up to congratulate Charlie was David Dahl. And there he is right there. He said, "Thanks, buddy." He goes, "I wasn't quite sure when they came off the bat, was it going to be deep enough to allow you to score, but I appreciate you hustling down the line, give me an RBI and a sac fly."
Yep, David's driven in 3 of the Rockies' 4 tonight. Back on top. Off the plate. I want to go back to that stat cast of the double that was hit by David Dahl, just to enlighten those that may not know. You say 105+ miles an hour off the bat. Sounds fast, and it is really fast. The classification of a hard hit ball in this new era in which we live is 95 miles an hour off the bat or greater. So 105 miles an hour is a really hard hit ball. Three and 2. Tyler Anderson, as you said, twice got the bunt down, but twice they were able to get the force at second, and twice he's ended up scoring a run anyhow. Nolan doing such a better job of walking. They're not going to throw him a strike. He says, "All right."
Twice
bring up Parra.
Yeah, twice they've scored 2 runs. Hey, all kids through the gates for the Rockies Diamondbacks game on June 10th. We'll receive a Junior Fire Marshal Fire helmet, courtesy of the Hartford.
Gerardo had a bunt single in the second and a fly ball to left. This would be a great time for the sneak attack steal, but there's only one problem. Mally's pretty quick to the plate.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I'll let Gerardo hit.
Right. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, these are the moments.
Yeah. This situation, Rockies up 1.
Not in the 2-0
2
count.
outs. No, not in this count.
If it was 0-2 or 1-2, sure. With the left-handed hitter block the catcher's view.
Three and 0.
The other thing this does too, with Nolan walking now 3-0 to Gerardo, all the running that Tyler Anderson did, he's ready. He's got to be in the dugout, just sitting down, saying, I'm ready to go now. I caught my breath.
Parra taking the whole way, 3-1. Michael Lorenzen pitched in last night's ball game. He's throwing again tonight in the Cincinnati pen. Outside, ball 4, back-to-back walks with 2 out in the 5th, and here comes Story.
Fourth
Comes
walk.
Danny Darwin.
Then he has that Texas drawl too when he's talking to him. He telling him that back-to-back walks, and also it allows Lorenzen to get a few more throws down in the bullpen.
Trevor 1 for 2. See if he can run into one here. 4-3 Colorado, 2 outs, 5th inning. On the corner. Rockies began the day a half game up in the division. They're now a full game up because Oakland shut out Arizona today 3-0. Do you know there are 11 teams in the National League, Huey, within 4 games of the top spot in their respective divisions?
And there were some teams early on, the first 2 or 3 weeks, that really jumped out there. And
Arizona being one.
Yeah, I mean, they're the first one that come to mind, and then everybody else slowly caught up to them. That's Central with Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Chicago, and St. Louis. There's a log jam there. NL East, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington, New York.
One and 2 on Trevor.
Good pass on that hanging slider on the Subaru strike zone, 85 miles an hour.
Rockies 12-9 in the month of May. Trying to right the ship at home. They're 8-11 at Coors Field. And Trevor goes down swinging, but a productive inning for the Rockies. They get a run-scoring triple from Charlie Blackmon, and then David Dahl with a sac fly. Colorado back on top, 4-3. Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. We go to the 6th inning. Block and a half from Union Station with the Rockies in front 4-3. One last night, 5-4. Tyler Anderson will face Duvall, Dixon, and Cruz. And Duvall takes ball 1. Fly ball to left, fly ball to center tonight for David Duvall. Tyler at 88 pitches. Trying to give the Rockies, in all likelihood, a good final inning and then turn it over to the bullpen.
Brian Shaw just got up out in the bullpen for the Rockies. Brian. You can hear the bullpen phone.
Somebody answer that, right?
Yeah. That was Darren Holmes that went over to get it.
Anderson's bounced 2 in a row. And now it's 3-2.
You want to pitch Duvall outside. You don't want to come inside to him. He's at below 100 on outside pitches. See where Chris sets up. He sets up away.
3-2, sharply hit. That's a good pickup by Story, and out at first base. That was a hot shot. 1 gone.
That was an excellent pickup from Trevor.
That's one, Hugh. You feel like your glove may end up in left field, right?
Well, because it's hit so hard. Little 2-hopper. Notice how he spun on it to get that, because he catches the ball behind him. Okay, right there, it's behind him, so your momentum is going that way, so it makes it easier to spin. Makes sense. If he catches out in front, then you just shuffle your feet.
He's got that pirouette down, doesn't
Yeah.
he? That came off the bat at 109 miles an hour. That's the hardest hit ball in the game tonight.
Wow. You could just tell the way it was gathering speed.
And here's a pop-up right side. McMahon going out. Coming in is David Dahl. He'll make the catch. And Dixon is retired. Now the problem child is coming up right now, Tony Cruz. Tony, a single on an 0-2 pitch in the 2nd inning, and then he had a long 2-run home run to left, his first of the year. At the time, it gave Cincinnati a 3-2 advantage.
Oh, I like what Buddy just did there. He just stood up on that top step, yelled out to Tyler Anderson, "Let's go." Okay, you were just talking about his success tonight. This is Tyler's chance to get back at him. Watch this.
Finish.
Finish strong.
I mean,
Love
this,
it.
Yeah, this is, you know, again, in all likelihood going to be all for him. Changeup misses, 1-1. Alex Blandino is in the on-deck circle to hit from Malley. I like that Anderson does this. It's not quite Al Grabowski, but he'll depart the mound for a moment, go to the back of it, gather his thoughts, and come charging back up the hill. And this is popped up foul out of play, 2-2.
Well, and Tyler's a quick worker. He likes to get the ball and go. But every so often, you have to step back. Take that deep breath. Calm the nerves. And execute a pitch. Quick pitched him on that one.
Yeah.
Buddy's studying this up. He said, okay, I want him to get Cruz. If he doesn't, then that's when the matchups start to happen. We're kind of all over the Subaru strike zone, up, down. A lot of out pitches away from Cruz, first and third pitches. Notice how they start at the bottom, or start at the top, and then work their way to the bottom of the Subaru strike zone.
Got it. Well, Buddy Black will be pleased. He challenged Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson said, I'll take care of business. 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Rockies up 4-3. For Tyler Anderson. Now you can watch your favorite Isotope stars make their journey to the big leagues with the Colorado Rockies. AT&T Sportsnet is your home for Rockies baseball all season long. It is available on most cable and satellite packages. Visit AT&TSportsnet.com for channel information. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Taylor McGregor. In the 6th inning, the Rockies will have Ian Desmond, Ryan McMahon, Chris Iannetta. Michael Lorenzen pitched last night, former two-way player at Cal State Fullerton.
This in the 8th inning. 1, 2, 3, 8, 15 pitches.
Lorenzen was a closer at Fullerton. He was also an outfielder. He had 335.
Just has that athletic body. Last night, first guy he faced was Ian Desmond. Tonight, same.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Go back to that exchange for a moment ago from Tyler and Buddy. Like what Buddy did, yelling out to him. And then after he came off the field.
Out at first base, Votto stayed on the bag, and fielding the ball was Peraza. And by the time he got it out of his glove and fired, he was right next to Joey Votto. Watch this.
Yeah, so he gets the scoop on the Subaru Supermo, has a little bit of a fumble to go get it. He was lucky he caught that in midair. And the scoop at first from Votto. But Peraza, he was probably 20 feet away when this play was all said and done.
McMahon in his return. He's 0 for 2. Ground ball to third, and he was caught looking. 0-1 against Lorenzen. 2-strike count. Scott Schebler's now in right field. Dixon was removed in the double switch. Schebler will lead off next inning. And McMahon throws out a base hit to left. And with one out, and Chris Iannetta coming up, we check in again with Taylor. Taylor.
Hey, yeah, you guys, I spoke with Ryan today about what he worked on in AAA because, you know, he comes up here and he's starting today, but there could be a point when he's off the bench again. And I said, how do you get into a routine coming off the bench? And he said, when I was in AAA, I really focused on that first at-bat when I was an everyday player, knowing that when it comes to me at the big league level, I'm going to be good to go because I was so strong in that first at-bat.
Well, it makes sense.
Good advice to himself. Or you're not used to that role when he came up to be coming off the bench. Never had to do it in the minor leagues. He's an everyday player. You get 4 at-bats, 5 at-bats. Your first one didn't go. You made some adjustments.
Iannetta, double play ball. So Lorenzen gives up a base hit to McMahon. He's quickly erased. We move on to inning number 7 with the Rockies out front 4-3. On the plus side, battled away tonight. 6 innings, 3 runs. Didn't have the strikeout pitch necessarily going, but he grinded.
He made pitches when he needed to.
Yep.
And he gave up the 2 home runs, but accounted for all 3 of the runs the Reds scored tonight. 4 ground outs, 4 flyouts. Ryan Shaw was warming up, but then when Schebler came into the game in the double switch, then you bring Chris in to face Schebler, and then you also keep Billy Hamilton hitting right-handed. So at least for the first 2 guys, Chris is going to be in this ball game.
And that's why Shaw is still up, and he's been joined by Mike Dunn. And this is, you know, a little bit different usage for Chris than what we saw in the second half of last year. But if you remember the first portion of last year, Buddy used him as a situational lefty at times.
Yeah, and that's what Chris excelled in last year. The various roles. Hasn't been quite as sharp this year, but you know Chris.
That's a base hit the other way from Schebler. Now the bunt's in play with Billy Hamilton. It's always
when the
in
push
your
bunt,
mind.
too, the push bunt where you're trying to push it past the pitcher right towards the second baseman.
Russin fields his position well. Rockies basically had a three-man bunt defense there. Both corners were crashing, and the pitchers
He's coming
involved.
straight in. Chris is coming straight in, but what Billy's trying to do is he's just trying to push it right towards that area.
That's what he was doing there. He bunted it in the air, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hamilton's popped out twice in the game. And that misses. That looked like it was on the bottom of the Subaru strike zone. Hamilton catches a big break. Buddy wants to know if he offered at it. Bruce Dreckman. Pretty tight strike zone tonight.
Yes, it has been. But for a guy that's game is built on speed, and you would think the instruction, as you talked about last night, that he got from Joe Morgan about bunting, he would be a little more adept at bunting.
Especially this situation. He's not trying to bunt. You know, if he bunts for a hit, great, but he was just trying to get that thing down. Well, he did better than that this time. He lines this ball all the way to the wall. This will tie up the game. And Hamilton at third is going to get a late stop sign. I mean, Billy Hamilton was 20 feet around third base. One of the fastest men in the game, flirting with an inside the park home run.
Wouldn't you know it? He doesn't get the bunt down. He's trying to give himself up. Doesn't do it on the first 2, and then laces one into the left center field gap. Goes down and gets this on the Subaru Supermo, and then it's off to the races. Shepler's going to score easily. And then it was just a question: is Billy Hatcher going to continue to wave Hamilton around?
Well, it's been a tough go so far for Chris Russin. He comes in and he gives up single, triple, and now it's a tie game. Brian Shaw will be aboard when we return.
Star Wars Night, Brewfest, Faith Day, and the newest theme nights, Beatles Tribute and Margaritaville Tribute. Visit Rockies.com/themes for more information. A 28th ball game for Brian Shaw. That's one of the leaders in the National League. Infield playing in.
You got to be aware of the bunt here. Hamilton at third. Peraza is a bat handler. Go ahead run 90 feet away.
I think if you're looking with one out, you would think a squeeze would be in play. Not with no outs though. And with Billy Hamilton's speed, because all it takes is a little off target to one of the infielders and he can take off.
One fought off, base hit, and the Reds take a 5-4 lead. 3 straight hits, single, triple, single. Both of those runs will be charged to Chris Russin. You know, the Rockies' pen late has been good, but the bullpen, in terms of inherited runners, has not been as good.
Saw it the other day in San Francisco in the game that Tyler Anderson threw with Brian giving up the home run and ended up giving up 3 runs in that inning.
The Rockies have allowed 29 of 66 inherited runners to score, what's above 44%. It's the highest inherited runners scored percentage in the National League, second highest in baseball. Jeanette is 4 for 4. And that will allow Peraza to go first to third. That's 4 straight hits.
Single, triple, single, single. And nobody out, and Joey Votto.
Yeah, not a great situation.
Brooks Pounders is getting up. Mike Dunn was up a moment ago.
Strike on Votto. Chris can't find the baseball. Peraza scores standing up. And Jeanette to second.
Chris might be hurt. Chris might have hurt his groin. And it wasn't on the block on the Subaru Supermo. This isn't where he hurts it. He slides over just fine, scoots away from him. But it's when he goes to get the baseball. Now watch his foot come out from underneath him as he goes over to get the ball. Watch this. Slide right there. And you can see the grimace on the face.
He says he's okay. Rockies are now down 6-4. We're in the 7th inning. You got to find a way to produce some outs and nail this thing down and prevent a larger deficit. Jeanette to third.
But as bad a swing as that was from Joey Votto, it worked out for the Reds.
Productive one.
If you're Brian, you have to hunt a strikeout with Suarez.
Suarez 0 for 3 tonight. Infield comes in. Cutters off the plate, ball 1.
Trying to work with Brian, and he's got a very quick delivery anyway, but they think he might be a little too fast to the plate. So they're trying to, it's slowing him down. And it's inside on the Subaru strike zone.
Three and out. Single, triple, single, single. And then Joey Votto produced the only out. 3 runs in the inning for the Reds. Rockies ahead after 6 tonight. Not anymore, but coming into this evening, 21-2 when they led after 6.
He went
3-2. Ground ball right at Trevor. He'll hold the runner at third. Gets Suarez. And now they can drop back with 2 out with Duvall coming up.
big out from Brian Shaw.
Got to get one more big out.
You do. We talked coming into the game how last night the Rockies were down by 3 runs. That's the most runs they've had to overcome this year. Been down a couple times by 2 runs. They've come back to win it.
Strike on Duvall. Fouled off. Shaw ahead 0-2 on Duvall, the former Giant. And he got it. Duvall walks off. End of inning, but 3 runs for the Reds. Are up 6-4 as we stretch at Coors Field. that is our Cooney Lexus look back. The Rockies did have a 4-3 lead, now 6-4 in favor of Cincinnati. And the Rockies in the bottom half of the 7th inning. With the pitcher due up, they'll turn to Noel Cuevas, one of the heroes from last night.
Noel 4 for 14. Pinch hitting.
Lorenzen still out there, and he fires a first pitch low, ball 1 at 95.
Last night, had the triple down their right field line, first career triple for Noel.
And this is bounced up the middle with topspin. Cuevas can run. Jeanette's not going to get him. He's just doing something seemingly every day to help out the club. Cuevas is a big man who can move.
Yeah, he got down the line. Now, this is a good play from Scooter Jeanette. When it was first hit, I didn't think he was going to be able to even get a throw off. But he got a strong throw off on the other side of second base, all the way in the air. Noel helping the first base umpire Dan Molino out. The safe sign.
And now with Blackman and Dahl coming up, you're going to see Jim Riggleman go get a lefty. Take the baseball from Michael Lorenzen. It'll be hard throwing Amir Garrett when we come back. Blackman, 4 hits so far in this series. They're going to need some more, I think, from Charlie. That was a triple, one of the specialties of Charlie Blackman a year ago. Charlie's coming up, representing the tying run after the infield hit by Cuevas. Guy on the mound, 6'5" Amir Jamal Garrett, who for a year played college basketball for St. John's. He went to Findlay Prep in Henderson, Nevada, which is a basketball factory.
Yeah, still lives in Las Vegas.
One of the many interesting things about Amir, baseball was his sport. He did not start playing basketball until his freshman year. And evidently he was pretty good.
Well, I went to St. John's. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then transferred to Cal State Northridge. Played for Reggie Theus. Longtime NBA player and coach.
Many moons ago at another network, Reggie and I were partners for a while. 2-0. Amir Garrett has a big arm.
We saw fastball a moment ago, 94, 95 miles an hour. Also throw a hard slider. That's what he'll throw to lefties. Fastball, slider, and that is it.
By the way, he's still listed at 6'5" in their media guide. He's closer to 6'7". That's 3-0. Garrett in the 2011 draft went the 22nd round, but the Reds offered him $1 million, which is top 3-round money.
You can see why. He's got
Reds
a
were
live
patient.
arm.
Yeah, the Reds were patient with him and said, listen, when you can come pitch, great, and while you're playing basketball, that's fine. So he was doing both for a little bit. Now he's a big leaguer. Bounce to first and a tag play for Cuevas at second. And that's a double play. .36 on the double play, and that'll bring up Dahl, who's doubled and hit a sac fly tonight. He's driven in 3 of the Rockies' 4 runs.
It's the 4th double play the Reds have turned this evening.
But again, what have we talked about? The Rockies, the number of balls they hit on the ground, 3rd highest in baseball. So if you're hitting that many balls on the ground, there's more opportunities clearly to have double plays. David fooled 0-2. And strike 3. So Amir Garrett comes in and squashes any rally potential for the Rockies. We'll go to the 8th inning, 6-4 Cincinnati. Airlines low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By O'Toole's Garden Centers, putting the color in Colorado. And by Cheyenne Frontier Days, log on to cfdrodeo.com for the full lineup. Well, we go to the 8th inning. The Rockies have seesawed back and forth with the Reds tonight. Unfortunately, the Reds are out front now, 6-4 after a 3-run 7th inning. And new man on the hill for the Rockies is Jake McGee, making his 21st appearance, Huey.
But it's been a while since Jake's been out on the hill. You have to go back to the 20th. 6 days ago out in San Francisco. Was 1/3 of an inning, gave up 4 hits, 2 earned runs, and I think they kind of backed off Jake for a few days to see if he can get some of that velocity back. We've seen a lot of 91s and 92s the last 3 or 4 outings from Jake. And I know it kind of varies anytime a pitcher goes out there that many times. And early on in the season for Jake, he said it before, that as the summer wears on, he starts to get a little stronger. But there just wasn't that extra life on it, even at 92.
Well, their 6th and 7th inning setup men have been struggling. Brian Shaw's been struggling. He gave up another run tonight. McGee has not been as sharp as we've seen him in the past. 8th and 9th has been lights out. Obviously, the 8th inning, as good as anybody can throw out there in baseball with Adam Ottavino and Wade Davis doing his thing. He leads Major League Baseball in saves.
But you're right, Drew, because now with Brian Shaw, after giving up the run here tonight, his ERA is 6.04.
And again, I don't always pay attention to ERAs with relievers, but in this particular case, I mean, the first guy I'm sure would stand up, because that's the kind of guy he is, and say I haven't pitched well enough, is Brian Shaw. Jake McGee, a 2-1 count on the pinch hitter Alex Blandino. Tony Cruz and Scott Schebler to follow. And this is in the air to Parra in left. One out. Ted Cruz, a single, a 2-run home run, and a strikeout tonight. Tyler Anderson will get a no decision. He went 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 hits. He walked 3, struck out 2. And this will be a tough play for McMahon. How about that?
Not that tough.
That was very LeMahieu-esque. Tall, rangy second baseman. If you didn't know, you thought it was DJ, right?
Well, the way he went sliding to his left, because I think DJ's as good as anybody going to his left and making the slide, turn up, and throw to first base. And Ryan made that one look pretty snazzy. Looks it in on the Subaru Supermo and then pops up, plants the right leg in the ground to get the throw off.
You know what? When I watched that, and we saw him in spring training, first thing I think of, athlete. He's just a good athlete.
Well, you have to make that play.
Yeah.
You can't be some slow guy over there.
Nope. Schebler hits a fly ball to Parra, and it's a good inning for Jake McGee. Now the Rockies with 6 outs to work with offensively. Got to get rolling. They're down 2 runs. Nolan will lead it off when we come back.
June 9th will receive a MLB Play Ball Weekend wristband.
Well, Huey, the Rockies are going to see a guy they know well, David Hernandez, the well-traveled David Hernandez, is now pitching for the Reds as a setup guy.
I remember him from his days down in Arizona pitching for the Diamondbacks. .214 batting average, 15 strikeouts, 7 walks in 15 innings for Hernandez.
So Nolan 0 for 2 and a walk tonight with Parra behind him. First pitch is in there for a strike from the 33-year-old Hernandez.
Nolan 2 for 7 in previous go-arounds with David Hernandez.
And this ball's driven to right center field and deep, and it is off the wall. Nolan a lead-off double. I think he's going to right field and right center field in particular better now than at any time in his already great career.
Rather than trying to force the issue, pulling it, he knows that that's not going to do him any good. He's not going to be able to hit like he is. He's hit 320 coming into the game. That was 5th highest in the National League. So if you're going to pitch me away, I'll go ahead and take you away, and I have the strength to go and hit doubles off the wall.
And think about what Huey just said. He's hitting 320. He's one of the top 5 hitters in the league. He's not had great protection behind him. And last year, he broke that glass ceiling. He hadn't been a 300 hitter yet. He ton of RBIs, ton of home runs. We know that. Last year he hit 309.
And
so now he's plowing into an even newer territory.
That's what the great ones do.
That's what the great ones do.
Yep. 10th double this year for Nolan.
A year ago, the Rockies saw Hernandez with Arizona, as Huey mentioned, his second tour down there. He came from the Angels. Put some hits together. Lefty Wandy Peralta has gotten up. The only other lefty for Cincinnati, they've used Amir Garrett.
Just looking down where they probably get him if Ryan McMahon comes up.
Now you got a good chess match going between two really sharp managers, Buddy Black and Jim Riggleman, because Riggleman knows the piece off the bench that Buddy has left is cargo. 0-2. And this kicks away. That's a break. A wild pitch. Nolan to third.
The wild pitch benefited the Reds in the 7th inning. Now it's going to benefit the Rockies. Boy, that's the definition of a spike curveball. Tony threw his body over there, but once it hit the ground, it went the opposite direction.
Getting in play here for Parra. 2-2. Well, the Reds relievers in May. It's been a rough season for Cincinnati. They played better under Jim Riggleman. Not a knock on Brian Price, but lately they played better. One of the big reasons is their pen in May has been outstanding. A low 2 ERA.
And part of it has been David Hernandez and Jared Hughes. And Iglesias, who just went on the DL.
He went on the DL with a strain in his non-throwing arm.
Yeah, his left bicep.
Yeah, left biceps, but he throws right-handed.
It's a new one on me.
It must be pretty significant.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's not there. It's just very rarely do you hear that.
Ground ball to first. This will get the run home. So Nolan scores. It's a 1-run game. 1 out. And Trevor Story will be coming up. And that's a productive out. Behind early, Parra was. He has the infield back. There's two kinds of get him in that you guys used to work on every day in your big league career.
And that was one of them, the infield in and infield back. Infield in, you're trying to hit the ball in the air. Infield back, you just hit it on the ground. And that's what Gerardo did.
So Nolan getting things started here in the 8th. 6-5 now. Trevor's been on twice.
Those two identical spike pitches.
Let me correct that. Trevor's been on once. 1 for 3, single. And this ball's ripped toward right center field. Hamilton on the move, runs it down.
He made that thing look easy.
It's why if you're Jim Riggleman, no matter what he's hitting, and he's hitting a little below 200, he had a big triple earlier in the game. Billy Hamilton has to play in this series because of the vastness of the outfield.
Exactly, and we saw it going back on the ball last night. This ball's hit right on the barrel, and then Billy Hamilton just outruns it. I mean, he made that play look smooth and easy.
One 1-0 on Desmond. 0 for 3 tonight for Ian. David Hernandez, a native of Sacramento. Two and two. Just missed. 3 and 2. Hernandez strikes out Desmond in the inning. The Rockies get a run. Nolan a leadoff double. Parra eventually brings him around on an RBI ground out. Rockies within a run.
Set Spilly, Sully, Connor McGahee with you. We're probably going to talk about 2 big innings for the Reds and the bullpen for the Rockies coming up.
I think we're going to talk about the bullpen for the Rockies most importantly because you're looking at a team that's just trying to make sure the offense is trying to catch up. You hate to point any fingers at the team, but when the offense isn't scoring, you got to count on other people.
I'm getting excited to talk about the guy who's responsible for the walk-off.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We have a fortune teller on set.
Yep.
You got to come up with a nickname.
Okay. Swami.
Swami.
Sure,
there
we'll go
it
with
is.
that.
Nice. Chris Berman's going to be very upset. Back upstairs to you guys.
Boy, that's an original one.
Swami.
I thought Corey would do better than that. Billy Hamilton's up and he takes strike one. Jake McGee had a 1-2-3 eighth inning on a relative handful of pitches. Hamilton an RBI triple in the 7th when initially he was trying to bunt.
It was just 6 pitches last inning for Jake.
One ball, 2 strikes on Hamilton. Reminds me of a guy that would have fit in well on the Cardinals teams in the 80s with Vince Coleman and
Willie Wilson, or Willie McGee.
Willie McGee and Tommy Herr.
Like one guy that could hit the home, Jack Clark.
Jack Clark, he was the only guy who hit the ball over the fence. Actually, Tommy Herr, I want to say, drove in 100 runs batting third for them and hit 7 home runs, something like that.
That's because they would just hit that ball on that AstroTurf at Old Busch Stadium.
They were fun to watch.
Yeah, fly around those bases.
He's thrown more pitches to Billy Hamilton this inning than he threw to 3 hitters last inning.
This is a side he strikes out 40% of the time.
He's hanging tough right now.
It's also the side he hit that triple, unfortunately.
Inside 3-2. Actually, it was 8 home runs for Tommy Herr and 110 RBIs in '85. Billy pops this one up. It's like no man's land, and a great effort by Dog. That's a Bermuda Triangle out there.
You got 3 guys running at it. Probably the best angle, but he couldn't get there is Ryan. And that just scoots out of David's glove on the Subaru Supermo.
Boy, it was in there for
but it wasn't
a
quite in
nanosecond.
the webbing. It was too far out on the end.
And Hamilton bounces that foul.
Pitch of this at bat.
Billy hitting just 182 from the right side, which makes this probably one of his better at bats. One of his in the previous one being a triple. Both of these have been high quality at bats for Hamilton. See if McGee can win the battle though. 3-2 again. Got it. Reach back for a little something extra. Good to see 95 there.
That's what I was referencing a few moments ago, or last inning, I should say. to get some extra velocity, and Jake climbs the ladder. He goes 95, beats Billy Hamilton finally after the 11th pitch of that at bat.
He'll hit Jose Peraza. Rockies will get Jared Hughes in the 9th inning. And they'll have McMahon, Iannetta, and in all likelihood Carlos Gonzalez. 7, 8, 9. Ground ball toward Nolan, diving stop, get up, throw, out. And that's a guy who can really run in Peraza. That third baseman's okay.
Yeah, he is. This one hurt Nolan, though. Meaning it hurt his chest when he landed. Momentarily knocked the wind out of you.
There's so many elements of his greatness defensively. The throwing arm should never be forgotten.
No. He goes down, hits hard, stumbles a little bit, but then the throwing arm makes up for any sort of stumble he had when he first got up on the Subaru Supermo. Feet slide out. Okay, 95 across the diamond.
Scooter Gennett lobs this in a left, and he's got a 5-hit game. Home run, single, 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 single. 5 for 5 for Gennett. Kind of grinning ear to ear, why not? And he brought a .319 average into the ball game. That will allow Votto to hit here. And Votto hits it on one hop to McMahon. So we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Rockies trail by a run. McMahon will lead it off. 2 solid innings from McGee. Rocky scores 7 or more runs. So here we go. 9th inning. Jared Hughes is out there for Cincinnati. The Rockies trail 6-5. Ryan McMahon, who's 1 for 3 in his return to the big leagues, will lead it off. Chris Iannetta, who's been on twice, will hit behind him. You see the numbers for Jared Hughes so far this year.
Just a couple saves too for Jared in the 29 1/3. And he's not overpowering. You think closers, they just, 95 to 99 miles an hour. Jared Hughes' fastball is about 92 on average. They'll throw a slider. For Hughes, that slider is 85.
And the first pitch misses.
Right on cue, 92 with a tiny bit of sink.
And again, that's because Raisel Iglesias is on the disabled list. He'd normally be handling the 9th inning. McMahon, this is hitting no man's land, and no play. I think Votto thought for a moment about flipping it behind his back.
And wisely he didn't, for the Reds' sake. I'd have liked to seen it from the Rockies' perspective.
Remember the bunt you were fearing from Billy Hamilton a couple innings back, where he pushed it towards second base? This ultimately is what Ryan McMahon produced.
Right, and you can see Joey trying to direct traffic by pointing his glove to Jared Hughes, saying, you go to first base, I'll get this ball. And then you're right, Drew, that was a good call. He put it behind his back and then pulled it back, saying, no, that's not a wise play.
Now, how do you play it with Chris?
Bunt.
He's swinging and he fouls it off. And it's always a tough call for a manager to ask a guy who typically doesn't bunt.
I completely agree with you. But with a guy that's not overpowering, is not a hard 95 plus guy. I think it's just the fear of hitting into a double play.
Right. And that's why I think it has to be in the toolbox for every player. I mean, even a guy like Mike Trout, and it may only come up, once every 5 years.
If Chris practices everything, he practices bunting too.
Sure.
So that's,
but you know how that is. Sometimes
exactly.
some guys, you know, they bunt the first round one.
It's a show.
Against 50 miles an hour. Argo waits on deck. Blackman in the hole, tomahawk to deep left. That is a fair ball off the wall. McMahon to third, and Chris Iannetta the winning run to second. Here come the Rockies.
That's why you don't bunt.
Who said bunt?
Great job, Chris. Tomahawk that one for sure. And now we get a high five from Tony Walters as they change places. Tony will go out and run for him. Way to go, Chris. And this is too, as a manager, you just have a feel sometimes. There's no book that's written saying you got to play it this way. As I mentioned, Tony Walters pinch running.
So here's Cargo with an opportunity to win the baseball game with a knock. The infield comes in about halfway. McMahon is a decent runner, a little bit tick better than average at third. Blackman on deck, nobody out. Inside, good take. Rockies looking for some Coors Field magic. Hasn't been much of that so far in the young season here at 20th and Blake. Way inside again.
Cargo 1 for 1 in his matchups against Jared Hughes, but had the count 2-0 now.
And this is where you tell yourself, don't get big.
Exactly. Hit your pitch.
Cargo's produced some big hits already this year. 3-0.
Do they put him on now?
I would think. You know, there's the thought when you're in this kind of situation to load him up anyhow. It's usually with the winning run at third, not the tying run. That's why Jim Riggleman hasn't done that. In a squad as Tony Cruz. Do you cut him loose?
You need to.
And they're loaded up for Blackman. Single walk, RBI triple. 2 for 3 tonight.
Fans, Rockies baseball is always live at the MLB at Bat mobile app. Stay connected all season with video highlights, stats, news, and more. And if you do that, you can probably see this walk-off what's going to happen with Charlie.
And now the Malta Conference taking place on the mound.
Well, this is
the key runners, the guy that Stu Cole is putting his arms around and coaching up. The winning run is Tony Walters. Cargo is an ornament on a tree right now at first. He's just hanging out.
He doesn't have to worry about anything. It's on Tony, though, at second base. Sometimes you get a little over frisky out there, and if the ball's hit on the line, you get caught too far off. So it's a tricky base running that you have at second base.
And the other thing that Stu, I'm sure, is reminding of, know where the outfielders are playing.
That's right. They're playing pretty deep in left and right.
A little bit surprising, isn't it?
So if you're Tony, too, you want to try to get off far enough, but not too far. You know what I mean? So you don't get doubled up.
So here's Charlie, bases loaded, Rockies down a run in the ninth. Pull through to Votto, low throw, out still.
Wow, that was a bad throw. Great play from Tony Cruz. Because he threw that in the dirt. Cruz had to block it like it was a throw from the pitcher. And then grab it with his bare hand.
And what made this possible off the bat, I'm thinking hit, but Votto was 30 feet off the bag in that hole. He was basically saying, if you pull it down the line, it's game over. But he took away the 3.5 hole, and it paid off. That's not ordinarily where you'd see a first baseman play against a left-handed pull hitter.
Not at all, and he's out there again right now.
For Dahl. David's had a big game. He's driven in 3 of the Rockies' 5 runs. Now the key runners, Cargo at second. Have a night, David Dahl. Line shot, caught to second. Ball game over. Rockies lose. Unbelievable. Bases loaded, nobody out. The top of the order up, and unbelievably, Cincinnati escapes.
Shocking.
That is shocking. Baseball can be a painful game, and for the Rockies tonight, a most painful finish. They thought they were on the precipice of winning that baseball game. Instead, it's the Reds prevailing 6-5 as we go to Connor in center field.
Drew, thank you very much, guys. The emotion was here, and then it was here just like that.
That is an absolute punch in the gut.
That's
right
a punch
there.
in the gut.
We'll talk about a punch in the gut and much more coming up on the Toyota postgame show when we return. Stay with us.